Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to Vintage Story Guide. We are back in Seattle, as you can see by the redwoods and the rain, and it is good to be home. I forgot I left these sitting here. Last episode was quite a marathon. It wasn't the longest recording session I've had, but it was pretty big and spanned 2 days, and I'm trying to cut down on having a huge amount of recording to go through because it just makes the editing job take so much longer. And I think today I am definitely in the mood for some nice quiet building around the base. We have had lots of very interesting and exciting adventures, but I think it is time to address a few things, namely today the fact that I am sleeping on a pair of beds sitting here in what was basically a cave. And I think it's high time that we start moving operations upstairs. Now, I know we started some of that by moving some of the storage upstairs, but we still have most of our sort of everyday stuff down here. And I often find myself climbing up and down these stairs about 10 times an hour, actually probably more, to come down here and to cook or sleep or gather stuff or grind grain or forge things. And while we're not going to move all this today, I want to get at least the bedroom moved upstairs, because I keep having to like rush down here and get dizzy on the staircase to just take a nap, and it's getting old. So I think for now I'll leave this here because we have 2 more beds upstairs waiting for us. But I think today is a great chance to get that process started, and I want to show you a bit of a preview, well, at least I want to point out where I want to build and what I want to do. I'm hoping the fog isn't too bad. Okay, it's bad. It's bad. Okay, so can I get somewhere better? There we go. Okay, this is really bad, but so we have the top of our home right here, and I've said that I want to sort of build into this mountain, and I want to have more structures poking out of it. Today, I want to go up a floor, probably maybe around where the tip of our roof is, and kind of come out over here next to this tree, and we will preserve these trees, they'll stay here. And I want to build a little turret, and I want to fill it with our 2 shelves of books, with the promise of perhaps more later, and I want to turn that into our bedroom. And that way we have somewhere we can sleep, where we can hear the wind rustling through the tree leaves, and we can hear the rain, and we can see out in the morning over our lands here and over what will eventually be our jungle. That is the plan, and I think it's time that we should get to it. But as you can see down here, we do have some of the trees that I planted have grown up, so I'm going to take some time and we are going to defoliate these for their seeds and then chop them down, because we need a lot more kapok for our future build projects. And I think somewhere here, oh, here we go. I did plant, I thought I had a second one of these growing too. I do have some ebony. Oh, and we also have these pineapples here, which, you know, I think for now I'm going to leave them because I just don't have the materials or the facilities to process all of them before they rot. So I'm going to leave them here, and as we need more food, I'll come and grab 1 or 2. But I think for the time being, I'm happy to leave them here ripe. And since the temperature is always nice, I don't think they will ever go bad. Which is kind of funny, not realistic, but whatever, I'll take it. So while we are taking these trees down, I wanted to have a bit of a fireside chat with all of you in regard to where the series is going, where the series is, where the channel's going, where the channel is. Maybe not in all the same order, but you know, there you have it. So you probably have noticed that I have kind of slowed down on the episodes that have sort of lessons to them, and that's because we have covered pretty much everything there is to know about the game's mechanics at this point. Now, that isn't to say that there won't be new mechanics coming out in the next update or the ones after that, but for 1.16 and 17, which is, we started this in 1.16 and we're now in 1.17, we have run the gamut of game mechanics. There are a few odds and ends that I want to find out, things like, can we breed gazelles? But that's sort of fitting a new animal into existing mechanics. It's sort of a question of, are these the same as what we're used to or not? So I wouldn't really count that as a, lesson type episode. What does that mean? That means that we're kind of in a sort of building and more let's play kind of phase, rather than showcasing the game's mechanics. We are showcasing, we're showcasing sort of my vision for how I want to build a Vintage Story. And I will say I am still having a blast building all of these cool builds, and I am looking forward to expanding our base here in the long run. However, a long time ago, in an episode far, far away, some of you asked what is next for the channel, and that's what I wanted to discuss, because at some point, and sadly, I have to note and reiterate that all things do end eventually. Now, we're not quite at the end of the Vintage Story Guide yet, but it's something to think about because I need to sort of prep and plan for what comes next. And that means thinking about how to sunset the Vintage Story Guide and how to segue into what is next. And segue is a weird word, I hate it. It's one of the few GUE words that we pulled from Italian, so we pronounce the way part rather than, say, catalog or dialogue where we don't say it. Anyway, segue into the next thing, into the channel. I am thinking that what will happen is I don't really want to cut down the Vintage Story Guide forever, but I do think that at some point in the next few months I'll be reducing the frequency of Vintage Story Guide episodes in favor of what comes next. And I haven't decided yet whether that will be once a week, once every other week, or even just once a month. But maybe I'll put out a poll when it gets closer to time and sort of ask people, how often do you want to see Vintage Story versus the other games that I want to put on the channel. I also want to branch out soonish because this is Gaming with Kurazar, at least the Discord is. It isn't Vintage Story with Kurazar, so I think it is time that we diversify. And as I have noted before, Vintage Story is a very high-effort game. It takes a lot of time to record and edit an episode because there's just so much junk to cut out. I mean, even in this little chat we're having, I already know that I'm cutting out about, probably about 2/3 of what I've recorded so far, and probably 2/3 or at least half of what I'll be recording from here until we're done. So with all that being said, what is next for the channel? I had previously answered in a very early 20 questions segment, I think like back in, June or so. Someone said what is next for the channel, and I had responded with possibly games like Unexplored 2 and or Star Sector, with some caveats for both of them. And I think I have a more complete answer, and that is I'm going to start recording something else, something that's neither of those two games, but also one of those two, because I have recently discovered and immediately fallen in love with a little game called Wildmender. Wildmender is it's another survival crafting game, so somewhat similar vein to Vintage Story, and it actually kind of has a similar start, in a way. We're seraphs who have awakened in a world that was destroyed long ago by this rot, and Wildmender is actually kind of similar. You play as a little druid kid who wakes up in the desert, but you sort of meet this spirit that sort of guides you into an understanding that this wasn't always desert. In fact, this was once a lush green landscape, and it becomes your mission to rebuild that landscape and, bring water back and trees and greenery. And I just really enjoyed watching. I watched Splattercat play about 20-25 minutes of the game, or the demo, and I think it would be something really cool to check out as a demo with you guys, to see if you would like me to cover the full game either in early access, which it is in now, or when it comes out, or both. So look forward to some Wildmender on the channel. It's going to be probably coming out sooner, probably before I start drawing down the Vintage Story Guide. But that is one of the games I want to feature on the channel, at least temporarily, because the demo only goes so far into the game. But it does have several hours of content, so it'll be sort of a short segue into whatever comes next. At the same time, I do also want to commit to probably some Unexplored 2. And I have not played, and I probably will not play Unexplored 1. It is a very different game than Unexplored 2, but that's okay. Unexplored 2 is one that I have actually now sunk a bunch of hours into. I sort of got lost in it one weekend, and I have a pretty solid understanding of that game, unlike Wildmender. So Wildmender, I know the premise, I know a little bit about how the game plays, but I have not touched it yet. Unexplored 2, I have about, I think 30 couple hours in, and it is very cute. I love all of the work in it. It is just a joy to be in. It's in terms of theme, it's again kind of similar to Vintage Story, where it takes place in a world where this empire is just ruthlessly taking over the world, one country at a time, and it's up to you to do the thing that makes the empire stop taking over the world. I don't want to spoil too much, but there you have it. And it's a different format. It is not a survival crafting game, but it is sort of survivally in that there's a lot of, well, there's not very much inventory space, so there's a lot of inventory management in terms of making sure that you have all the things you need to survive your journey. You need to have gear to protect against the cold and the rain or the heat or the dry, as well as protecting against wind from storms. And it's a very well thought out game, and it is procedurally generated, so every world is different unless you put in someone else's seed that you've seen or found on the internet. Now, at one point I had mentioned Star Sector as a possibility, and I do want to keep that on the table, but not for the immediate future. I am waiting for another update to come out, which will supposedly make the story a lot more complete. And so I want to wait until that is out before we play it, because right now the story kind of cuts off in the middle of the plot. So I would be very interested to hear from all of you what kind of hype you have, or don't have, for any or all of these games. Have you checked out Wildmender? Have you played Unexplored 2? Why is this in the ground? Anyone? Let me know your thoughts on this content, and if it's something you'd like to see on the channel. And I will, like I said, want to continue the Vintage Story Guide in some capacity going forward, just maybe not at full steam like it is right now. So those are my thoughts on the channel moving forward. Let me know either in comments or on the Discord channel, where I will probably start talking about these plans for the future a little more openly. And let me know where you want to see this go. I'm definitely looking forward to diversifying and trying out some new games on the channel, and exploring them all with you guys. Well, I'm going to finish cooking this meal, and then I'm going to go get a project bin going for today's build. Okay, so here we have our project bin with, I think, most of what we're going to need, minus maybe an extra lantern, or I could use one of our torch holders and a torch. That could be an option for lighting up there. But today's build is going to be a kind of small one on the number of blocks, which is why you only see this many blocks in here. But it's going to pave the way for some bigger expansions. One of the problems I ran into over here was, a few episodes ago I wanted to try to find if I could sort of bust out into what is probably a sort of valley here, because the redwood trees don't grow on the tops of these mountains, they grow on the sides, so I think there's a valley right in here. And this dirt here, and the fact that I could previously hear a wolf, and here's forest floor right there, yet there is a valley here, but we're below it. And so getting up a little bit, in terms of Y height, would be perfect. We could go one more spiral run this way, and this way, when we would dig that way, we could actually get into that little space. And I want to do that. So for today, we're going to get our way up there, and we're going to build a little bedroom for ourselves. And that will be our goal and our start on getting something going where we can get out to that little valley in there. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get some more kapok stairs, and probably even more kapok stairs. Where'd my saw go? There we are. And we'll bring some acacia as well. And we are going to just continue this staircase up here, like so, until we get around to the next floor. Okay, so we are at 155 here, and if we carefully ascend these stairs, we end up at 163, which is pretty high. It is 8 blocks above here. I think we need to go just a little bit higher. I might just have us come out. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We will have this continue up a little bit farther. I think to here. So I want to see if we do something like this and then start digging our way diagonally this direction. How far is it to the front of the mountain? We end up here. This is right where I wanted it to be. It's just a little farther away than I wanted. That's okay. I think we can still work with this. Maybe we'll have a little hallway here, or maybe even a little... maybe just a little sort of cozy living space. That space down there is nice and cozy, but it is also still roomy in a way. And it might be nice to have just a little bit of privacy over here. Yes, I do like this spot. I like it indeed. So let's get to work. We need to clear out some more stone here, and we're going to start then our build in but a moment. Now, for our bedroom, I want to have this sort of as a turret that sticks out just slightly from the rest of the mountain. So it's going to have a roof peak, and it will be a peak, like a spire actually, that will be probably at least 1 block out from the rest of the mountain. So let's go ahead and we're going to start getting these materials up here and seeing how it goes. It also occurs to me that I'm going to want some windows for this turret, and I want our fancy windows, so we need more ingot molds, honestly. But we can start with a couple for now. Going to smelt some lead down, and we're going to get some windows going, which means I also think... no, I think I have some glass upstairs, so we should be good there. I think it's been quite a while since I've recorded myself pouring molten metal into a mold. Ah, I've missed that sound. Okay, so what I want to do here is we're going to do a border in basalt, and this is going to be a very small bedroom. In fact, this might not even be high enough based on that, but we'll see. We also never quite finished this roof, I guess, technically speaking. Ignore that. But I do want to have a small 3x3 floor in here. You know what? I do feel like we're going to run into this. Yes, we are. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. We need to go up just a little higher. So I'm wondering if maybe we could turn this into a very shallow staircase and just go up by 2 blocks, maybe even 3. Let's try that. Okay, so I've changed my mind on the gentle slope because I do kind of want to have a little room down here. And with this change, it does mean this room will be nice and small and cozy. So what I'm thinking is, what if we have a staircase that starts here, and we will just drop some dirt in here for now, and we'll just have a staircase that takes us up to our bedroom door. So that when we wake up in the morning, we come downstairs, literally come downstairs into our little living room area thing. And that way we'll also have the sunlight that streams in from above when the sun rises. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, so that brings us up to here, and we are no longer going to collide with that roof there. That is much better. Okay, so now we do our little border here, and we'll probably have just a central single door here, since it is an odd number build. Here is our 3x3 floor, just like so. And then what we'll do then is I'll probably just bring a ladder in from below and we'll fill in the bottom here. I do want it to look like a turret, so the bottom will be kind of pointed as well. Then we'll do a bit of this. And then we're out. Okay. There we are. And I think what I want to do here is... Ooh, do I want big wide windows or narrow ones? I think I want wide ones, because I'm going to have two. Or maybe we'll just do a big window here, and then smaller ones over here. But I do know that I'm going to want to have that there somehow. I don't want the turret to look square from the outside, so maybe we'll even... no, we're not going to pop the windows out, because that would make this too big. I want this to be a pretty small room, so you know what, we will survive with the room being a little bit squarer on the outside. But that's okay. And then we are going to have some of... Ooh, you know what? No, we're not going to do that, because we can't chisel these. So, let's make these into some staircases, and we will ever so carefully figure out a way to place them here. So we're going to have a single window here. Probably... you know, we will clear some of this and put a single window here. And then here we'll have a big window. Probably like a 3x3 or even a 3x4. I want this to be a pretty tall room. And there we go. Now for the rest of these walls, I'm going to do some of these here. There we go. And finish you up. Okay. Yes, and then we can have some walls here. And these will be full blocks. Like so. And that way we can nestle a couple of our bookshelves in one corner and have our bed in another corner and have room for maybe a table over here or something. And then have a lantern hanging from the ceiling and a little plant. So we're going to need to go and... Still calm, wow. We need to go and check on that lead, because I think we're going to need more glass, more leaded panes than those two bars will provide. Yeah, because this is going to be 9 by itself, or at least 9, maybe even 12. And these will be 3 or 4 each, so maybe even a couple runs of those ingots is necessary. Alright everyone, it is a dark and stormy morning, and I have been away for the day in real life, and during that time I did do some research, and I found out that bamboo sprouts do not actually ever sprout, or the shoots never actually shoot. They just sit. So that's a shame, but it turns out that basically in order to get more bamboo, we do have to shear these leaves here, as well as take down the bamboo. So I'm going to do a bit of that because I want to have some more bamboo to do some chisel work in the future, and possibly in the relatively near future. So I'm going to get that going so that we can have some material for chiseling, and then we'll get back up to our turret, which is... Let's see how it looks so far. Can barely see it. Perfect. Love it. Okay, bamboo harvesting and replanting complete, and I planted 11, and I still have 6 extra bamboo saplings, as well as we got 3 more pieces of bamboo. I don't think we have any lurking somewhere, do we? We might upstairs. I'll bring it up. But we got 27 more pieces of stacked bamboo, and that's great because I got a kind of a new idea for what I want to do up in our bedroom, specifically how it's going to connect to that little hallway room thing that I was talking about earlier. So I think this will be great. I'm also wondering if when you cut these, do you actually get shoots? I wonder if you can use these in food. Let's try it. Seems like you cannot. That's unfortunate. Oh well. I do wonder if that's because it is not considered a nutrition type, so it can't really fit any of the vegetable or protein or other options. So we shall see if it changes later. Okay, coming up here with our windows first. So I think we're going to go with these acacia windows instead of the ebony windows as we did down in our first place down there, because we're not going to have as much room to add color into this, so I thought that the splash of red might be nice. Yeah, I think that works. Let's go ahead and get some ladders going here, and let's get a few more blocks placed up here to get this to its final height. Okay, so there we have that. I think I'm going to go and shuffle my inventory because I want to get the roof on before it gets dark, although it is still calm, but I don't want to get complacent. So, let's go ahead and I'm going to just remove you. You're in my way. And I'll be right back with what I think we need for the roof here. So, looking at the time, I don't think it's going to get done before nightfall because, well, night has fallen with a resounding crash. But I am here with all the things, I think, that we will need for our roof. And since our walls aren't particularly circular, I think I'm going to try to get a slightly circular roof on here. We'll see how well that goes. Up over here without dying. Nice, we did it. Don't care about that dirt. And let's go ahead and get some semblance of a roof on here. And we'll start, I think, with this bottom row here. But I think I won't do the bumps where I sort of put some on top to add texture because we're not going to see this, like, ever from above or below. Then, let's go ahead and we'll just get this roof in, like it was always meant to be. And like that, we have our room, at least the interior, well, the interior structure of it and the roof done. I think what I want to do here is probably drop a bit of a line using some more of these. Then we'll pick you up and we'll drop you. Is that too low? No, I think that's okay. Not too head bumpy. Okay, now, down here, I had mentioned that I had a different idea of what to do about these stairs, and I do, but first I want to kind of get underneath the tower, and we're going to add a sort of lower flare, or lower point to the tower, or to the turret, so that it doesn't look like just K-pop underneath. Let's get in here and see what kind of damage we can do. Whew, okay. So, I think what we'll do here is actually fairly simple. I'm going to use some of these slabs, and we're going to just drop them. Maybe we won't use slabs. Maybe we need to get under here farther, and we'll use stairs. We do have plenty of those, so I think we can do it. is suddenly medium. There are suddenly drifters very nearby. Interesting. I hope you'll ignore us for now. So let's go ahead and we're going to drop down to there. That should do. No rock throwing, please. At some point we'll come in here and finish this roof off. I guess this might be an opportune time to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to just do some of this. And then do some of this on these ends. And then we'll chisel those end pieces off a little bit. And then from the bottom here, just tuck a dirt block in there. We'll have a bit of you, and then I think a bit of you. So we'll have a little point at the bottom, and then a point at the top, with the top being the pointier bit. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just while I'm here, I'm just going to finish this roof just so it's not gross like it is right now. Because that's pretty bad. Yep, that's my bad. Oops. And like that, it's as if the roof was always there. You'll never know the difference. Okay, let's go ahead and get this scaffolding down. Okay. Beautiful. So I'm just seal you for safety for the time being. And then let's get the interior of the bedroom decorated, and then we'll sort of work on what I wanted to do out here. We're not going to finish this room. This is kind of a big job because I have some interesting and fun plans for it. But I want to get the room done, and I want to get at least the method of entrance and egress covered, if not complete. So I'm going to go ahead and get some supplies for all of that, and I'll bring y'all back when that's ready. Alright, I've come armed with a few odds and ends. I think the first thing I want to do is probably right here. We will put some bookshelves, and I do want to chisel these, but I want to chisel them so that I can still place a loam planter on top, or I could do it first. There we go. Now into our planter. Let's see, do we like the poppies? Ooh, those are a nice splash of color. Do like that, although I also have another couple colors to try. We have the cornflower. That's nice, not quite as bold, but I do like it, and it is different. We don't have much blue around here. We also have the orange mallow, which is nice. It is very, I think, subdued compared to the other two. So, you know, I think I like the poppies in here, at least up there. That is nice and bright. Look at that. And then, let's come in here, and we'll put our bed... We'll put our bed here. Like that. And that way we can have a bedside table, which is going to be made with a hammer and chisel. Forgot that part. And let's go ahead and chisel this down into a pair of slabs. And then we can go ahead and combine this together into a pair of white marble tables. There we go. Do that, and then right over here we can put a chest like that, and then yes, I like having a little bit of space here to turn around it. I'm going to leave this probably bare. And then up here, oh, I need to go get a flower pot. We can put a flower pot, and here we can put our splash of blue. Yes, this is the room that I wanted, except for that. I was kind of thinking of having a bit of a green wall, but I'm not sure now. Maybe we could still... Oops, wrong one. Maybe we could still do something like that. A bit of greenery inside growing on the wall. I think I like it. Let's get a couple things for this doorway. We want a door, first of all. And I do need 2 more blocks of basalt, and then we need something over the door. It's going to be something similar to what we have down in our main room, but it'll have to be different because this is a single block wide. So I'm going to go and probably play around with that for a bit, and we'll see what we come up with. And here we have our new little above door design for our single doors. I rather like it. And this one, I didn't do the extra little indent because I felt like with it being so small, it would lose some definition. So I just kept it flat on this surface. But I really like that bit of light coming through. I'm going to stop hopping, I'm just going to look at it from here. There we go, look at that. That is, I think, really fun. And it keeps with the design of the ones over our doors down here. And in case you've forgotten, like I've forgotten my lantern, here is the design for over the doors for double doors. A bit deeper, a bit thicker, and of course twice the size, actually a little bit more, because they do spill over into third block a little bit on either side, third and fourth blocks. But yeah, I am really pleased with how that came out. So I have one more main thing I wanted to do today before we call it the episode. But before we get to it, there is a safety issue I want to address. And that is the staircase is not quite complete here. So I want to take a moment to just get this, oops, smart of me. I want to get the central column done, I want to get the corner columns done, and then I want to get at least a bit of the glass in, enough to keep me from falling off the side here, which I have almost done on several occasions. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I'll bring you all back when that is finished. Okay, major safety issue is now resolved. I like it. So, that leaves what I mentioned before about this space here, and we're going to need some stone to patch this up, as well as a few more materials, so I'm going to go and get those, and we'll get started. Alright, back from supply run, and let's go ahead and take out our dirt here. There we go. We're just going to patch this back up with a bit of stone, and you know what? I might even do it kind of like that. There we go. And we'll clean this up a little bit. Take you out. Now, what I was thinking was, it'd be kind of awkward if you come out of a room and bam, staircase. Like, that's a recipe for just, you know, oh, I gotta get out of bed to pee in the middle of the night. I'm gonna just stumble down the whoa, and I'm dead. That's bad. I mean, I've done that in my own house, and my staircase is like 3 steps, so this is a whole, what, 6 steps? That's dangerous. So what I'm thinking is, what we'll do is we'll have this room be bit larger. Well, not larger, but we're just going to go ahead and open up the room a little bit over on this side, at least in this direction, and maybe up at least one block here, and we'll increase it farther down. There we go. That's a bit better. So what I was thinking was we could do something interesting with these stairs, and that this makes a bit different than this. Let's pick you all up. And I also have a few kapok slabs. I was thinking we could have a little staircase up and a landing, and then we could have more stairs up to a second landing where we can then get into our room, like so. And that way we get to play with elevation a little bit in these rooms. Something I didn't really do a whole lot of up at Lupine Ridge is I didn't play much with a whole lot of variable stairs and verticality, aside from the sheer verticality of the house itself, which was pretty tall. So we can do something under here, either just a sort of inset wall, or we could even put maybe shelves or something down here for decoration or storage. And we can open the room up a little bit in that direction, although I think we might need to patch up the wall a bit. We might need to sort of add some stone to the outside to make that work. Or even just opening this up here, and if this opens out into the world, we could put another window here. So that is something to consider. And you know what, let's go ahead and actually do a little bit of this interior bit, because I want to just get a feel for how this is going to look when we're done. Yeah, I think we can do something like that. It might even behoove us to maybe use slabs up here and chisel these back into sort of cornery bits. Let's try that. Let's try that. Something a bit like this might do. And then later, not in this episode, but at some point later, when we actually do this full room, we could put some kind of railing here. And I think I know just what I want to do as far as the railing goes. Well, I am very happy with our progress today. We got a lot done as far as our turret goes, our little turret bedroom. Oh, I wanted to chisel you back a little bit. Well, you'll come later too, I think. I have done enough chiseling for one day. Well, everyone, I think that is about all we have time for in this episode of the Vintage Story Guide. Hope you enjoyed our little building session with the turret and the staircase expansion and all the little side quests that went along with it. This new turret and the room associated with it have given me some more ideas and new inspiration for some future rooms. So in the coming episodes, look forward to more expansion of our home here in the mountain. If you have any AMA questions and want me to answer in a video, drop them in a comment with the hashtag 20questions, or post them in the 20questions Discord channel. Social and support links, including the Discord invite, are in the video description. As always, my name has been Korazar. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.